Guys, we are just weeks away from having a brand new iPhone unveiled to us, thus pre orders, thus new phones in our hand, and new phone accessories like Apple Watch and all these other things. As well as the following month, we are going to have new Macs and iPads and all this and the other. Do not finance these tech devices. Please don't go into debt for this stuff. It's not worth it. I want to take a moment to make a bit of a PSA, more like community service on my end here, because I feel like I want to be, and I need to be the voice of reason about this whole field. I know it gets exciting, especially when we are around iPhone season and everybody wants to see what the new things can do, specifically the camera. And I can tell you from experience, I've done the thing where I did monthly payments. I've done the thing where I traded in phones and I've paid for phones outright. However we go about any of this, at the end of the day, this is not an investment. So no investment is worth going into debt for, okay? And I know maybe as I say it out loud, this might be common sense to some people who watch this, but there are these enthusiasts, these people who are impressionable, and they feel like they have to play catch up, that they have to living with the Joneses, if you know that analogy, where my neighbor has all the good stuff, so I need to be like my neighbor. And then people are, buying into capitalism and materialism about just constantly upgrading. I do not condone that. Hence why I don't have a pro iPhone yet. I'm filming on an iPhone 16 base model. And even though I put myself in a position where I can more or less upgrade every year, I do that because I am strategic about it. You have to be smart about this. I'm not saying don't buy the new whatever tech that comes out. And I'm not even talking about Apple. We could talk about new PlayStations, Switch 2, any of these things, right? We can buy the stuff that brings us joy. What I am saying is do not go into debt for it. Do not finance it, okay? If you cannot afford to pay cash outright on something, you can't afford the product. You can't afford the new iPhone that's coming. It is what it is. It's not worth going in the hole. Even if it's deferred payments, you're missing the mental gymnastics that's happening here. It's not about paying interest-free payments for 12 months until you can upgrade, or if you go through your carrier, chances are maybe 24 months. It's about getting you locked in on a payment processing cycle, getting you locked in and conditioned in use to just renting things. You're going to pay money for something you're never going to own outright, and that's a bad place to be. I hate subscriptions. I hate subscriptions. I have to pay for an iCloud subscription because there's no other way around it. But I do not pay, as of right now, for Final Cut as a subscription or Logic. The reason why I even went to a Mac so long ago was because I didn't want to pay for a subscription the way you would have to do on Adobe products. I don't like that format. I do not rent my products. I do not lease my Tesla, even though the tech might be outdated later. I always buy everything in cash, upfront, in full, every time. The exception was last year. I got my iPhone 16 for free because I had all this other tech laying around. I realized I was never going to use, so I traded in for gift cards. I used those gift cards for the purchase of that phone, but I bought it outright. I always buy unlocked outright, and it's mine, and I own it. It's not worth just, well, I can afford $11, $12, $15, $20 a month for the next year to just pay into it. You're missing the whole thing. It's another subscription model. Listen, I get the hype, but it's not worth it because every year it happens like clockwork. They get the thing, they're excited, then it wears off. Then there's new software. They run the beta, they get excited, then it wears off. How many of you are running the beta right now and completely are unfazed with the new design of iOS 26? I'm not running the beta, so when I get it, I'm going to be genuinely excited. And then it's going to wear off. When I got this phone that I'm filming on, I was excited for a couple weeks and it wore off. It became another iPhone. When I bought my iPad Pro, I was excited to have an iPad again. I was excited to have a smaller form factor, and then it just became another utility. It wore off. The honeymoon phase always wears off, but you are still paying for that honeymoon phase months or years later. and it's not worth it. This is not a popular sentiment to say. And you might be thinking, well, all these other guys are doing it. It doesn't matter what all these other guys are doing. They are either in a position where they can afford to buy it outright and they just don't talk about it, or they're lying, they're faking it. Just like you're going to try to hype yourself up to do it, it's not worth it. I know there are going to be people who do not listen to this advice and they're going to finance it. And you know what? You're going to do what you're going to do. I'm trying to be the voice of reason before you take that step. Because the moment you take that step, I profit from it. I own so many shares of Apple, okay? I am heavily invested and heavily biased towards Apple and Microsoft. I own those things, stocks, okay? And you know where they make a lot of their money? It's not just the products that they sell. It's the services, it's the subscriptions. Apple in this case are a pseudo bank. The moment you buy a product, they don't care how you get that device or the product or that subscription. All they care about is what that does to their balance sheet at the end of it when it comes to accounting. And then that gets reported, good numbers, sales are up, stock goes up, I get higher dividends, my share prices appreciate. So I benefit from people making bad financial decisions. I do have a place to benefit in this, but it doesn't make it ethically right or morally right to not at least give that caution. It's better, from my own experience, it's better to own the thing outright. You treat your device differently when you own it outright. No different than a vehicle, no different than your gaming console, and hopefully one day no different than the property that you own. Now, I know mortgages are a little bit different, very expensive, but at the end of the day, you are buying into an appreciating asset. These tech products do not hold their value. They will hold better value than an Android compared to it, but they all lose value over time. So don't go into debt for something that's not going to be worth what you end up paying at the end of that last payment. Just buy it outright. But be excited. If you can afford it, okay? If you can afford it, more power to you, man. Have fun with that stuff because this stuff is fun. But you got to make sure you budget for it correctly. God, I feel so old. I'm such a boomer. I'm such a millennial. Eventually, that's going to be the new boomer. Oh, you're such a millennial. It is what it is. But learn from somebody who was heavily in debt for years. Most of my life, I was in debt. And now that I got out of it, I'll never go into debt again like that. So I'm not saying don't buy it. Just make sure you can pay for it however you want. So there's your public service announcement. I feel like I've done my part. What you do from here is up to you.